Why is it so hard to form new habits and break bad ones? We read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. The book explores the psychology behind habit formation and the mechanisms that create habits. This book summary includes frameworks to help you 1. Make decisions, 2. Form habits, 3. Simple habit hacks, and 4. How the UK biking team excelled with these techniques. Plus, there are more deep dives in our written summary. Okay, so about decisions. The human brain makes decisions using a 4-step process. 1. It receives a cue to perform a particular action. 2. It creates a craving to perform that action. 3. It responds to that craving. And 4. It receives a reward or consequence for that action, either internally or externally. When the brain receives a reward, it is encouraged to repeat the cycle. And when it receives a consequence, it is encouraged not to. This cycle repeated is what forms a habit. An example would be 1. You wake up. 2. You want to feel alert. 3. So you drink coffee. Which 4 satisfies the craving to feel alert. Behaviors have underlying base level motives that are more deeply ingrained than the behavior themselves. For example, a person may scroll through Facebook because of a short-term goal, but more deeply out of a desire to connect and bond with others. Attaching habits to underlying motivations makes a person more likely to trigger a craving to perform that habit. Okay, so what about habits? To form a new habit or break a bad one requires you to make the unconscious conscious. This is necessary to overcome the existing loop that runs in the brain automatically. Human brains are hardwired to take the path of least resistance and to exert the least energy necessary. That makes new habits hard. In order to create good habits easier, try the following. 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. And 4. Make it satisfying. Now, how do you break a bad habit? Clear writes that you can invert those 4 steps like so. 1. Make a habit invisible so that no cue is ever received. 2. Make a habit unattractive to undermine any craving. 3. Make a habit difficult to make a response harder. And 4. Make a habit unsatisfying so the brain is prompted not to repeat it. Habits don't form based on time. They form based on frequency. A behavior will become automatic when the habit loop is completed a certain number of times, which differs across people and habits. It doesn't matter if it takes a week or a year to complete the necessary number of repetitions. Okay, so how can you make habits stick? James Clear shares tricks for this. Design your environment to create as many cues for good habits as possible, and make those cues obvious and impossible to miss. How can a habit be attractive? Pair a want to do with a need to do. For example, I am only allowed to watch Netflix after I run on the treadmill. How can a habit be easy? Automate as many of your habits as possible. Invest in technology which makes it easier to do what would usually be difficult. How can a habit be satisfying? Use reinforcement. Use an immediate reward after a habit is completed. For example, I'll organize my computer files at the end of the day, and when I'm done, I'll have a beer. Okay, so let's talk about real life now and how all this works together. In 2003, the British national cycling team was the worst in Europe. In nearly a century, they only won one single gold medal at the Olympics and never won the Tour de France. In 2003, the team hired David Brailsford as performance director. The strategy Brailsford implemented was called the aggregation of marginal gains, to make tiny 1% improvements to everything the team did. Brailsford's team slightly redesigned the seats of their bikes to make them more comfortable, applied alcohol to tires to slightly improve grip with the track, asked riders to wear new clothes to improve body temperature and aerodynamics, and so much more. Together, these micro improvements made a drastic change. By the 2008 Olympics, the British team won 8 gold medals, 4 times more than any other team. Then, they won the Tour de France again in 2013 and 4 more years in a row. Like compounding interest, making a small improvement over and over again adds up over time into a massive change. This is the idea behind the concept of atomic habits. Atomic habits are minor improvements to the system of your life, which on their own are insignificant, but together can change the course of it. To read more deep dives and case studies on atomic habits, read our full summary today.